Hello students! After this course, you should be able to apply the basic concepts of chemistry. This video provides a brief summary of the significant concepts. I hope you have enjoyed this course and now feel inspired to develop your chemistry skills further. Chemistry is an experimental science concerned with the substances of which matter is composed, the investigation of their properties and reactions, and the use of such reactions to form new substances. Chemistry is around you all the time. You are able to understand me because chemical reactions are occurring in your brain. The food you ate for lunch is now furnishing energy through chemical reactions. An element is a substance that cannot be decomposed into simpler substances by chemical or physical means. An element consists only of atoms that all have the same numbers of protons in their atomic nuclei. A chemical compound is a substance consisting of two or more elements that are chemically bonded. A mixture is a substance composed of two or more different types of atoms or molecules that can be combined in variable proportions. Mixtures of compounds can be separated by methods involving only physical changes, such as distillation, filtration, and chromatography. On the other hand, compounds can be broken down to elements only through chemical changes. The structural unit of matter is an atom. The atom consists of positively charged protons and electrically neutral neutrons and negatively charged electrons. Protons and neutrons form the nucleus of the atom. Electrons are placed in the electron shells orbiting the nucleus. The number and location of electrons in the electron shells determine the chemical properties of the substance. The periodic table of the elements is widely used in chemistry. The horizontal rows of the periodic table are periods. The elements of the same period have the same number of electronic shells. Vertical rows are groups. Groups 1 and 2 and from 13 to 18 are main groups. And groups from 3 to 12 are side groups. Sometimes side groups are left without number and the main groups are numbered from 1 to 8. Elements in the same main group have the same number of electrons in outermost shell and are similar in chemical properties. The chemical properties of an element are determined by the electrons of its outermost electron shell, because only the electrons of the outermost shell form bonds with other elements to form compounds. The elements can be classified as metals, nonmetals, or metalloids. Metals are located on the left of the periodic table and nonmetals are located on the upper right. Elements near the borderline tend to have properties that are intermediate between those of metals and nonmetals. They are metalloids. A metal is an element which is typically hard, shiny, fusible, malleable, and ductile, with good electrical and thermal conductivity. The metals typically lose electrons when they undergo chemical reactions. The nonmetals are brittle, not malleable or ductile, poor conductors of both heat and electricity, and tend to gain electrons or share electrons with other atoms in chemical reactions. An atom reaches its lowest energy level when it has 8 electrons in the outermost electron shell, that is, an electron octet. The electron octet may be achieved through various chemical bonds. A chemical compound is a substance consisting of 2 or more elements that are chemically bonded. Compounds can be molecules or ionic compounds. Ionic compounds are formed as the result of the formation of positive and negative ions. The metals typically lose electrons to form positive ions, cations, and the nonmetals usually gain electrons to form negative ions, anions. Two-element compounds are usually ionic when one element is a metal and the other is a nonmetal. An ionic bond is based on attractive electrostatic forces between two ions of opposite charge. Ionic solids form crystalline lattices, repeating patterns of ions. Table salt is an example of an ionic compound. Sodium and chlorine come together to form sodium chloride. A molecule is a group of covalently bonded atoms. A covalent bond is formed between two nonmetal atoms. A covalent bond consists of the mutual sharing of one or more pairs of electrons between two atoms. The chemical formula tells the chemical composition of a compound, that is, of which atoms the compound is made of and how many atoms are relative to each other. A chemical reaction is a process in which substances are transformed into other substances. The change may be, for example, a rearrangement of the electron distributions of atoms and molecules with which bonds are formed or broken. As a result of the reaction, the atom may be converted to an ion, the molecules may combine or disintegrate, or the atoms of the molecules may change order. In a chemical reaction, matter is neither created nor destroyed. There must be the same number and kind of atoms after the chemical reaction as were present before the reaction. The reaction equation describes the initial and final state of the reaction. According to the law of conservation of matter, the total mass of the products remains equal to the total mass of the reactants. This means that on both sides of the equation there are equal numbers of elemental atoms. Combustion is a chemical reaction between a fuel and an oxidant, usually atmospheric oxygen. When fuel and oxygen are heated past a certain temperature, chemical reactions occur. So, three things are required before ignition and combustion can take place: heat, fuel, and oxygen. Combustion is an example of an oxidation reaction. A substance reacts with oxygen and produces oxides. An oxide is a chemical compound that contains at least one oxygen atom. Burning hydrocarbon fuels produces carbon dioxide, but incomplete combustion creates poisonous carbon monoxide. All combustion reactions are exothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions are reactions that release energy into the environment in the form of heat. Combustion releases more heat than is needed to sustain fire, making fire self-perpetuating. Hazardous chemicals like flammable liquids are used in all types of occupancies. Flammable liquids must be properly stored. Ensure the temperature of the chemical and subsequent vapors remain under their flash point. Keep the lids on chemical containers. Be sure to recap as soon as the job is done. Dangerous reactions can occur when certain chemicals are mixed. Oxidizers react readily with most organic material. Oxidizers provide oxygen for combustion, so they can cause or contribute to the combustion of other material. Store oxidizers away from other chemicals and combustible materials and heat sources. Explosives can detonate by ignition from some source, such as flame, spark, or impact. Panostat chargers are individuals who have a valid charger certificate and are authorized to handle and use explosives. The employer must permit only chargers to work with explosives. In Finland, the use of store-bought fireworks without a separate notification to the rescue authorities is allowed between December the 31st 6 p.m. to January the 1st 2 a.m. Safety glasses are mandatory. Fireworks must not be handled drunk. Do not distribute fireworks to minors. Keep fireworks in closed transport packaging. Don't store fireworks near articles that could catch fire easily. Stop people smoking anywhere near the fireworks. Gases in high-pressure cylinders contain an extraordinary amount of stored energy resulting from the compression of the gas. The amount of energy makes a compressed gas cylinder a potential uncontrolled rocket. If a cylinder valve breaks off, the cylinder can accelerate to speeds great enough to penetrate concrete walls and cause severe injury. These incidents are often caused when an uncapped and unsecured cylinder has been knocked over and a cylinder valve breaks. Move cylinders using a hand truck or cart designed for the purpose. The pressure in a cylinder will increase when subjected to increased temperatures. If a vessel is unable to contain the pressure exerted, it can fail catastrophically from over-pressurization and explode. Store cylinders away from ignition sources and protect from sunlight. Solutions are classified as acidic or basic based on their hydrogen ion concentration relative to pure water. Solutions with a pH less than 7 are acidic, and solutions with a pH greater than 7 are basic. Solutions with a pH of 7 are neutral. A corrosive chemical has a pH of 2 or lower, or a pH of 11.5 or higher. Corrosives are materials that can chemically destroy exposed body tissues. They begin to cause damage as soon as they touch the skin, eyes, respiratory tract, or digestive tract. Safety glasses and gloves should be worn whenever handling corrosive chemicals. Always add acids or bases to water and not the reverse. Exposure to chemicals commonly used in workplaces can have short and long-term health effects. Exposure can occur through touch, inhalation, or ingestion. Acute health effects can be observed immediately or soon after an exposure. Toxic materials may cause life-threatening effects even in small amounts and with short exposure. Some hazardous substances can cause severe chronic health effects, including cancer, genetic mutations, and birth defects. Regular exposure to some substances can lead to the development of an allergic rash or breathing difficulty. This phenomenon is referred to as sensitization. Employers must ensure that the safety data sheets for each hazardous substance used in the workplace is available to employees. Read them and follow all directions. Good work practices for storing and handling chemicals will reduce your risk of exposure. If possible, replace environmentally hazardous chemicals with safer alternatives. Use the smallest amount necessary and avoid release to the environment. Dispose of the product and its container as hazardous waste. Even households generate hazardous waste from chemicals such as leftover paints or pesticides. Hazardous waste can harm people, animals, and plants, whether it ends up in the ground, in streams, or even in the air. Chemical products that are labeled as environmentally hazardous should never be poured down the tray. All hazardous waste must be handled with special precautions and be disposed of in designated facilities. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. And finally, please take a summary quiz covering the material of the entire course. You should also write a short self-assessment. Examine yourself to find out how much progress you have made. Ask yourself questions about your strengths in chemistry and development needs that are important in your vocational field. I wish you all the very best.